Hello everybody and welcome back to your UFC post-mortem technical breakdown with me, Balian. Last Saturday's event saw Marvin Vettori take on late notice replacement Kevin Holland in a middleweight matchup with title implications on the line. Vettori showed dominance with his heavy grappling and wrestling attack, controlling the majority of the fight, but how did he get those takedowns? Where did Kevin go wrong? You're about to find out on another episode of Balian's Breakdown. The story of the fight was pretty simple. Marvin Vettori was able to take down and control Kevin Holland throughout the majority of the fight, but how he did that exactly is what we're going to look at today, and there were three keys for success for Marvin Vettori. Number one, break the posture of Holland. Number two, cut angles, and number three, drive to finish the takedowns. We're also going to take a look at a few other things, including how Marvin was able to control the cage so well and Holland's big strike towards the end of the fight. But if you're ready, let's break it down. Now we're going to start here in the first round with Marvin Vettori establishing a pattern that he will repeat for the majority of the fight. Obviously, southpaw v orthodox, the lead hand is very important. Vettori steps forward, controls the lead hand of Holland, looks to parry down or even parry over the top of Holland's jab, pulls it away and steps through with his own jab, and then follows up here with the left hand. Now this is just a nice sequence for him to be able to move forward, all the way back until they meet at the cage. Now, the takedowns. Now, Holland was initially doing a great job defending a lot of the takedowns. Eventually, obviously, that wasn't the case, but here we can see Holland keeping a wide base, hips, legs very far apart. Now, a guy like Holland, a big, long guy, long legs, you're able to base out quite well against the cage as long as you have the cage. So watch here, Holland's got his legs spread out nice and wide. As Marvin Vettori drives into him, he turns, sticks his hips and turns them into him, pushing him away. So Vettori can't line his hips up with Holland. So he keeps turning, turns to the side. Vettori reshoots here, level changes down, reshoots into the takedown. Holland stays in his base, turns again, pulls him away from the cage, and is able to stop the takedown. Vettori has to come back up and reset to the clinch position. Now, this is later on in the first round. Again, Vettori makes the adjustments already in order to secure the takedown, and we're going to have a look at those keys to victory that I mentioned at the start. Right now, he knows that against the cage, he's had trouble pulling Holland away from it. So he digs far on the right underhook here and starts to turn Holland away from the cage and peel him off. Let's go with the left hand, reaches around the back and secures the body lock. And from here, he now has more control with the underhook on the right hand side to turn him away from the cage, back towards the center, step to the outside, and watch the left foot of Vettori here. He actually steps on Holland's foot. A very old school little trip move there. Steps on the foot, pushes him forward. That foot now comes off the ground. There's no more base for Holland, and all he has to do is keep cutting this angle. One of the keys to victory here. Now watch the left knee of Vettori as he turns. He puts his knees on the ground, and from this position, he can drive, and continue to cut the angle and drive forward and complete the takedown. Now we're on to the second round, and we start to see Marvin employ more of the same strategies here, cutting the angle, stripping the base. So watch the left knee of Holland. Marvin here tries to shoot, loads in, left knee, stretches out for Holland, bases into him. So Marvin then reshoots, pushes him back into the cage, and with such force, reshoots right on in that the left leg of Holland comes off the ground. So he's no longer got the base. So then when Holland tries to put the foot back on the ground here, Marvin takes advantage of this, pushes forward even more, reshoots, and pulls away that left leg. So it came off the ground, the base reset as it came back down. With Marvin shooting forward, he stripped it, the knee is now bent, and he can continue to turn to that side. Holland's now, that left leg is on the ground, he can see his knee is touching the ground, and now his hips way too low, and Vettori can just drive forward, turn to the opposite direction, keep driving there, and he completes the takedown. Now again, here we're in the third round. This is a bit of a similar situation, but a little different. The power of Vettori is on display here, the strength that he has as a wrestler. He's driving into Holland. Holland's still trying to base, nowhere near as wide as before. Moves forward, digs into him, and you'll see him lower his hips here, and instead of turning him away from the cage or trying to push into him, that was Holland was basing out against before, he now pulls him in, out away from the cage, pulls him forward, breaks that posture again, the knees go down, and as soon as they hit the floor, it's a wrap. Holland, no base anymore with that left knee on the floor. Vettori can now push back into him, turn, and once again cut the angle, redrive against the cage. Holland has that left hand basing out here, but it's just not going to be enough in order for him to stay up on the feet. keeps turning, cuts the angle around the side. You'll see from this other position, in the finishing position now, Holland could still posture up, base up from here, but he's not got his back to the cage. There's nothing to protect him from the drive of Vettori as he just pushes into him and completes the takedown once more. Now again, we're here in the 4th round. Vettori here struggling. Holland got that wide base again this time. Great wide base. That is where he wants to be in order to stop these takedowns. But of course, Vettori here pushes into him, takes his left foot to go for the outside reap on Holland's leg. Now, he doesn't get it. Holland pulls his leg in and away, and Vettori doesn't get that leg behind, but look at Holland's base now. What was wide is now thinner and a lot easier to complete that double leg. So he starts to drive, turn him to the right hand side, and now he can lift that leg up again and go for the reap. And now look at Holland's legs completely together. The base is gone, and now he can turn him off to the left hand side. Now Holland does a good job stuffing the head here, as you should do, and that keeps him up just for a second here. But now Vettori's pushed him to the left. The base is gone. He can drive again, cut the angle one more time, and just drag him back in the opposite direction and pull that back leg out. No more base. And here comes the drive one more time as he finishes another takedown. Now this is right before the big strike that Holland lands. Vettori again doing great work with the lead hand, holding on. Another good thing he was doing was parrying. So many parries from Vettori, very underrated element of his game. The straight right comes out for Holland, left hand comes up, parries away, and he uses that to pressure into Holland time and time again against the cage. Constantly slipped, constantly parried that straight right hand of Holland. Now they're here against the cage. Holland framed out with a left hook here, doesn't really land, but Vettori's hands are down, had his eyes closed for a second, blinded by the hook. We talked about that with Stipe and Ngannou, and here comes this straight right from Holland. Bam, as clean as you can get. Perfect technique from Holland, and he knows he's hurting with this one, so Holland starts to come forward. Immediately though, Vettori, hands are up, he knows he got hurt, his hands are up, his eyes are open here. Holland steps in with the lead left hook, falls just a little short. Vettori's hands up, ready to parry if he needs to, but doesn't. Falls down. Here comes the right from Holland, this killer right that he's landed so many times. Left hand comes up, Vettori parries it. So he's just been rocked, so that's one parry. Pulls the left, parries. Now the left hook comes up from Holland. You see Vettori's right arm goes up to frames out against the hook, stops that from coming round to the head, and then he knows what's coming after the left hook. It's happened 3 times now. He got the left, then the straight right. Then he came forward with the left, it missed, then the straight right, parried. Here comes the left hook. Guess what's coming next? The straight right. So he slips to the outside, turns beautifully, looks, eyes are open, sees that back leg, hand is out, grabs that back leg of Holland, and then circles round, turns him, brings his right hand behind Holland here. Beautiful. And what's he going to go for here? The thing that's got him all these takedowns as well. The body lock, grabs it, locks the hands. But Holland here in this position, beautiful sprawl position. His knees are on the ground, his feet are there, he's based out, he's pushing into him with all his might right here. And you can see Holland really trying. He sticks his tongue out, he's grimacing here. But Vettori, once again, he's got his right knee down, brings that left leg out, starts to cut that corner one more time. The angles like we talked about. You see Holland grimacing, sticking out his tongue, really trying. But Vettori, such a powerful wrestler. Now he's cut the angle, hips are squared. He can just do what the third key to victory is. Drive in that straight line. You'll see the toes come up for Vettori as he just pushes into him. His left leg is off the ground because he's not just walking forward, he's pushing off the ground with that right foot, driving in that straight line, and then once again cuts the angle, and Holland feet together, no more base, the sprawl is gone, drags him down, and look how much momentum is behind that takedown. Holland's hands are in the air, he's flying about because he's moving so quickly, he's being dragged around. Vettori was on his knees, powered, cut the angle, powered, then turned an angle again, taking him away from the cage, and finishes one more takedown. So, I don't know if Vettori will get the title shot. I'm not saying he deserves it, but it might be interesting to see how his takedown game works against Adesanya when he's up against that cage defending them. Because in this fight, Vettori found a lot of different ways to strip away Holland's base, to pull him off the cage and secure the takedown. And that's how he won this fight.